let's talk about how to work with the offices in colleges that handle admissions and the representatives that come out to recruit for colleges. These are super important people in your life. And just basics, it takes the average person 7 interactions in order to remember somebody. So I'm going to go through a bunch of information, but I want you to keep that in mind. 7 interactions to really remember somebody. So colleges have offices which are set up to recruit and bring students into the schools or to have them apply. And their whole job is to go out and disseminate information about the school and try to get people like you to apply to their school. Now, the size of the admissions office is very dependent on how they handle admissions. So, for instance, if they are an institution which has really vets the applications, gives them a thorough reading, they're going to have more people than if they are an institution that does a lot of number crunching and just bases their admissions decisions or mostly bases them on whether you have the statistics or not. Statistics, always an important part. Statistics, of course, being your GPA and your test scores if they use testing. So keeping that in mind, each school has representatives, and most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time they're assigned different regions. And they go to those regions and they look at schools, they'll visit schools, and they'll attend college fairs in those areas. The way that they decide which schools to attend are based on how that particular high school ranks academically. So if you are a high-performing high school, chances are you are going to have many representatives wanting to attend your school and recruit. If you are attending a school that is not quite as competitive, you're not going to have as many visits. So you're going to have to be a little bit more proactive in getting on their radar. That's how you should hear that particular point. So, having said that, the way that this process works is that the representatives recruit typically in the fall. So right off the bat, they're going to be coming to schools. And then they read in the spring, and that's when the decisions are made. So usually their travel season is, September all the way through the holidays. And sometimes they'll travel after that, but that's a lot of their travel season. So let's talk about how you can figure out who these people are. I have 2 different websites pulled up, a state school and a private school. So this is Duke's contact information. Now here's the thing. Not all schools will tell you who the representatives are on their website. So you have to make a phone call and find out. But don't be afraid to make the phone call. So for Duke, they have a bunch of different deans and directors and stuff, and then you can see like the dean of admissions, he's reading exclusively for Manhattan, and then this other person, the associate or the senior assistant director, is reading for Illinois, a part of North Carolina, and the international applications. And so it goes. And because Duke is in North Carolina, they've divided the state up by regions. And you'll also in a moment see how other states do that. So when let's say that you live in Huntsville, Alabama, and you really want to go to Duke, your person is going to be Hildana. Now, what you're going to look for is Hildana to be coming to the high school, to be doing regional talks, to be doing regional tours. And you should look, and if you can't find any, reach out and say, hey, I live in Huntsville. I see that you're my representative. What do you think, or can you tell me when you're going to be in the area? If you're going to be in the area. Because your goal is to get in front of this person. So let's just look at a state school. I have UCLA picked up here. So UCLA is divided by counties. And they have, each county has one person assigned to it. And Sabrina's reading for a lot of California, a whole lot. Riverside, when it says admissions officer, that means they don't have anybody in that position yet, but they probably will. They're probably hiring for it. And then they also have, for them, they have the community college readers because their system is set up so that they have a lot of feeders into the schools from the community colleges, more so than other states. And then you have U.S. readers. So again, if you're from Huntsville, you don't have a person to reach out to. But if you're from Colorado, you can reach out to Sabrina. And Sabrina is likely traveling to Colorado to recruit. And then international. And usually the international, it looks like here they're kind of divided by continents. So what you're going to do is reach out to that person because you want to make contact with them. You want them to know who you are. So attend the sessions, their information sessions, but do your due diligence. Like, don't show up and ask a question that's on the website. Show up and ask questions about, one of my favorite questions is about their experience at the school, because most, not all, but a lot of the people who do recruiting do so because they have attended that institution and they may know like really fun little details about it. So that's something to keep in mind. I want you to follow up after you have a visit with them with an email, with some type of correspondence to say thank you. So for every interaction, if it's appropriate, send thank you so much for coming to my school. Thank you so much for hosting this. It was really nice to meet you. So you want to do that so that, again, this is like your second point of contact. You had your first point where you met them hopefully in person, your second point where you followed up with an email. Then I want you to send occasional updates. So if you get a quarter report card, or if you win an award, like you win a debate title or your UN Model UN title or something like that, follow up with them and let them know. What you're doing when you correspond with this person is you're demonstrating your interest in their school. And if the school, so the admissions person, in some cases, they make the decision. Like, they're the ones who read the applications and they're the ones who decide. In other situations, your application may go to a committee. And the committee will read over all the applications, and when it's decided in committee, everybody can give input. If your representative is actively advocating for you, that's awesome. People on the committee listen to each other. And if the representative can say, these are the emails that I have received, this person has been in constant contact, has really paid attention to our deadlines, is very familiar with our programs, that's key. The other thing is, when you apply, I want you to send this person an email and just let them know that you have applied. This is especially important with the early decision. Early decision gives you a leg up in most schools, so you definitely want to keep that in mind. And by letting them know that you have applied early, you're reinforcing your desire to attend that school. And then you want to send them, because most early decision deadlines happen before you get your midterm grades. Most schools are going to naturally require those. But it's also an opportunity for you to reach out and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know my midterms are, this is, this grade, and this grade. I'm going to be sending in the form soon. So something along those lines. As you continually do this and you attend the open houses and reintroduce yourself, and you attend the tours and you introduce yourself, and you attend the information sessions and perhaps even go visit depending on the school and have an interview, you are going to make an impression, and you want to make a great impression. And the reason to do this is because most people, again, they're recruiting. They want your application. And if you're a good candidate, you want to let them know, hey, I'm super interested in your school. So if you do these things, you should have a relationship then with the person. And most admissions representatives are good about email and good about getting back to you. Some aren't, but that's the truth in any profession, right? So keep that in mind. Don't take things personally. And keep moving through this. You're doing great.